The AllStar app, the #1 app in the business. UFC, Bellator, One Championship, PFL, and more. Get the app right now. Link in description. First thing I want to get into is freestyle MMA. You know what I mean? You've been working with them for a little bit now. You know, you've been grinding
Yeah,
with them. They got a
yeah.
growing team. You know, you're just another addition to it. How did you connect with them originally?
That was through my current coach, Brenton Mumford. He's been friends with Alex for a while. And I guess sort of after my last fight, they seen there's a lot of work that I could be doing, and a lot of stuff that they can help me with. And I just needed to come down here and work with them. I met Volk a couple of years ago though, in Thailand, and we'd been in touch, for a while. Yeah, but prior to my last fight, man, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I was just grinding away at home. But having made these connections and also going over to city kickboxing, I've been lucky enough to join over with some of the team over there, and put some training in, put some hours there, put some hours in here at freestyle. Yeah, it's been really good, man. It's been massive for me.
Yeah, that's great. And, you know, learning under someone like Joe Lopez, so old school, man. Gotta love Joe,
Yeah,
right? Like,
I
how
think.
have you gotten along with him?
Oh man, great! I think that's exactly what I need, man. Like I'm a pretty old school dude myself. With my approach to a lot of things, and so having him there, that just cements it for me, I guess. Right? Like he's just got that old school mentality, keeps everyone in line, knows when to be serious, knows when he can have a laugh, and as a fighter, you need someone like that. You need someone at the helm, just like keeping you on track. So he's been great. He's done well for me. Coming into my life and coming into my MMA career.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Lopez, the
Shout
OG.
out to
Yeah, I
Joe.
love Joe. I love Joe.
He's the man.
Uh, Now, you know, you've been a part of these championship camps, man, with Volkanovski. You know, how has that changed your vision or transformed your vision of the game?
Oh, massively, man. Like just to see just to see the approach mentally that some of these top tier fighters like Izzy and Volk, and Brad, Kai, Carlos, all these top tier dudes, being surrounded by them and seeing the mindset and their approach to the sport and their professionalism. Just seeing that firsthand and how they enter each training session and just their overlook on things. I think that's been the biggest thing that I've taken by being surrounded by these guys. But obviously there's all the technique and stuff that you can learn, but more than not, I think the mindset's really a big aspect that I'm getting to see here.
The what is it? The mental side of fighting, right? I know a lot of those
Yeah.
guys, they don't really talk about it too much, but they're really deep into that shit. Like really
Yeah,
deep.
man.
Like they have like mind coaches and all that. Have you gotten into that a little bit yourself?
Yeah. So I've been speaking to the same guy, with the sports coaching and stuff like that, and just life coaching, man. I think it's that stigma that sticks around men, just that it ain't weak to speak, and it's true. Like whether you're talking to someone to better yourself in your sports career, or talking to someone because you have depression, or you're going through some things or whatever, it's all good. You can just talk to people, and it's going to be better for you. It helps people out.
For sure. Now, you know, you're returning at Eternal MMA 72, and this time around, you're dropping down to featherweight. Like, why did you
Yeah,
decide to do
man.
that?
Just after my last fight, after my last fight, I pretty much jumped straight back into training, and I've been training hard, and I kept my diet going, and my weight just wasn't coming back on. So I was a little bit lower. I've been making lightweight pretty easily. I've been fought at welterweight, just walking on the scales a couple of times. So yeah, I guess naturally the weight cut down to feather was going to happen. It was just a matter of when, And I guess after my last fight, that sort of set me up as like, all right, sweet, let's make this trip down to featherweight. No better time than having a crack now.
For sure. And let's talk about the last fight, one of the craziest fights ever in Australian MMA history. When someone says that to you, like, what is that? How does that feel?
Oh, it gets me going, man. Like that's what I got into this sport for. I just love punching on and people having a laugh at it. Like and your friends and your family come and support you. Like that's cool. Like it makes me like a little giddy kid again. Like a teenager rat bagging on the running through the streets of the nightclubs and stuff like that. And you end up in a punch on and then everyone's having a laugh. It feels like a night out. So like and to see it like, get blown up like that, it's just crazy. It makes me just, reassured that I got into the sport and, for the right reasons, and people can see that it's authentic, that, I'm about that life, and it's cool. We just get in there and, handle business.
And this is fighting, but this is also a sport. So there's like rules and all that shit involved. So
Yeah.
in that rule set, under those circumstances, like, did you prove anything to yourself going through a war like that?
Yeah, man, lots. I learned so much more out of that fight than I took out of any of all of my fights prior to that collectively. Um, yeah, like, barely a round's worth of fight time, and in all my fights. So, I wasn't getting a lot out of it. I was learning to do a good walkout, and go out and get the job done, barely busting a sweat. So to go through that, there was a lot of stuff where I, seen where I was lacking experience, things that I had to go through that I thought that I was aware of, but actually had to go through the experience of learning to get there. But also that, you just got to go out there and show that you're, all heart, and give everything into every fight, and your people are going to love you anyway. Like the show goes on. I think that's where the sport of boxing, really hitting a wall now, where people are so scared of taking a loss that they're taking bum fights on bum fights, and then they might get one or two good fights out of their whole career. Whereas the sport of MMA is just soaring because we're seeing good competitive fights all the time, So like, even on the local circuit, man, like, you got people just dodging fights and shit, like, it's just crazy to me. Like, you get into this sport, you want to have a crack, you have a crack, Obviously your coaches and stuff are going to persuade you otherwise if fights don't, favor you. But all in all, people just need to get in there and have a crack.
How many fighters turned you down?
Heaps, man. My opponent that I have now was the only one we actually got over the line for this fight. So yeah, no, the featherweights don't want this smoke,
So it shows you Abdullah, what I mean? Like, he's game, right?
Yeah, man,
Like,
he's a good on him, man. Like, that's what I mean, Where's all the rest of these people that are going to be confident, putting themselves on the line? Like, it's all good in that you want to win all your fights, but like, if you want to really like soar and get up into the upper leagues, you need to fight the best people who are here, man. Like, and if you can't do that, then don't have higher aspirations.
yeah, Eternal does a good job of that too, man. The promotion, they really put on some crazy
They put on
matchups.
good
Like,
fights, right? Like,
yeah,
they put
yeah.
on fights that are well matched. They're not one sided. They're very competitive. Like, they're interesting fights. It's definitely Australia's top tier promotion, and with good reason. Like, for everything they go through, from the filming, the production side, behind the scenes, helping the fighters, just the whole lot, man. And then right down to the matchmaking. The matchmaking is beautiful.
This training camp, you're at Freestyle. Volk's in training camp. Justin, one of your teammates, is in training camp. He's getting ready for a title fight on the same night. What's the environment like over
Yeah.
there right now?
Oh man, it's been tough. It's been good. We got Jarrett Wilbraham. He's on a tear as well, man. He's fucking so sharp. Justin's so sharp at the moment. Everyone's on, man. Like, it's the energy's booming, man. Like, there's a wealth of knowledge that comes from within freestyle, and the camaraderie and the brotherhood that we have over there. It's second to none, man. It's massive. It's been detrimental for me to make a shift in my game and take my professionalism on this sport to the next level.
And you guys are all featherweights. Like, how does that
Yeah,
all
that's
work?
it, right? So
This
we've all got bodies, man. Like, we rock up to everyone. And that's the other thing, right? I come down here and I know that there's going to be 4 featherweights ready to train every day at every session, no questions asked. People who are professional, they rock up. Like, that in a fight camp, having that security in the back of your mind. That's a massive gain, all right there. Just having the bodies for every session that you're going to rock up to.
Are you tweaking the diet any, or were you walking around at at
Yeah.
lightweight pretty low? Are you tweaking it?
Yeah, no, I definitely tweaking the diet. I'm down pretty low at the moment already. I'm probably like 72, 73 now. Normally, this time when I'm making lightweight, I'll be like 77 or something like that. So yeah, the diet's on. It's come together right in the last minute. I was freaking out up until like 2, 3 days ago. I was up, like, my weight was up, and I just was freaking out, like, shit, am I going to make this weight? And yeah, now everything's come together. I stuck to the plan, trust the process. I got Geordie, the fight dietitian, sorting me out, and yeah, it's all coming together, man. I'm pretty confident we're going to get on those scales. It's going to be sweet.
Shout out to Geordie. You know what I mean? He's a
Shout out to
genius.
Geordie, yeah. He's a wizard, man. He's got some.
Yeah.
He's got the knowledge.
He does, man. Yeah, man, it's pretty wild, like how everything's working out for you, how it, you know, like you actually got an opponent, you know, because after that last fight, I was thinking like, man, it's gonna be hard to get either of you guys opponents with the way you guys fought each other, you know. But
yeah, man. Well, like I would have been happy to take the Dimps rematch if we could have had it and do it again, right? And you know, I'm sure he would have been keen too. But I think the promoters were going to try and, you know, play out, because we're both making the trek down to featherweight too, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, we're both going to have fights, and then we would both, you know, have a reason to rematch after our fights. So, like, hope, you know, and then Dim's opponent couldn't make it to the dance, unfortunately. So, you know, that leaves him home and dry. But I'm going to go in there and put my work in, and I hope we do cross paths again in the future, because that was exciting, and I'd like to get that one back in my win column, because, you know, it's definitely a fight that I think I can win. And I love Dimps. He's a good dude, man. You know, that's the first dude that I fought that I actually knew prior to going into the fight. And I think that shifted my mentality a little bit in a sense. But yeah, no hate towards the dude at all. Absolutely love the guy, but I'd love to get in there and actually fight him, you know, professionally, and put it on our records again, and have another crack at it.
For sure. And you know, you being so early in your career, but you're signed by one of the biggest management companies in the world. You're represented by one of the best managers in the world. You know, it's very
The
rare
best.
to be in that
He's literally the best right
position.
now.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man, it's
How
it's
did that
fucking
happen?
unreal. Like, I just believed in myself, man, and I put myself out there, right? Like, I wasn't scared of anything. I wasn't scared of losing. I wasn't scared of failure. I wasn't scared of shit, man. You know, I wasn't scared of not making money. I wasn't scared of taking a backward step. I wasn't caring about like anything, you know. And I gave everything to this sport, and I knew when I made the decision that I was going to do that, that, you know, everything would fall into place if I did do that, you know, and sure enough, it did. You know, the work that I put into myself, into my social media, into my career, into, like, you know, everything that goes into a career, marketing myself, it got noticed, you know, like it got noticed by the best, and here we are.
Yeah, here we are. What do you expect, man? What do you envision in this next fight?
I think I'm just going to absolutely maul this dude. Like, to be honest, like, you know, just me getting down to featherweight. I'm going to be a huge featherweight, like, and you know, like, I'm going to carry that power that I was carried from knocking people out from welterweight down, you know, down to lightweight, and I'm going to carry that power straight down to featherweight. And I just think I'm going to be, especially in the local scene, just too much for featherweights. You know, just too big, too strong. And you know, now that I've got a team with a new bag of tricks over here, I think I'm just going to be just too much for these people out here. You know, it's going to be we're going to have to just get a couple more fights and then get onto that big show. You know, and then really like start making some waves.
December 2nd, Eternal MMA 72, Southport Sharks, Gold Coast. Go in the descriptions, download the AllStar app. Josh, appreciate the time,
Yes,
man. A good chat.
my man.
All the
Thank you
best.
very much. I appreciate it, bro. My man. Thanks for hitting me up.